Hello there, how's it going and welcome. So I've got a bit of a deep dive kind of video today into the current state of Ark Ascended and how I feel about it going forward. I'm probably going to segment this video into two kind of ways, so I'm going to put up pros and the cons. I'll start off with the cons, just because let's get the bad stuff out of the way first, and then I'll end on the pros, because I do love this game and I want to see it succeed, I want to see it thrive, but lately I'm not very optimistic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be one of these content creators that's gonna just kiss boots, you know. I'm gonna say how I feel, and I'm gonna hope that it's met with like a constructive criticism kind of look, so people can look at my opinions and go, hey, yeah, I don't like the sound of that, but we are working on it, or we're gonna fix it, or we're gonna get better. You know, I'm not trying to be the guy that's like, oh, it's so bad, it's so bad. They need to do this like some people on Twitter. Holy moly! Some of the content creators on Twitter have been very, in Yorkshire terms, mardy. If you want to know what that is, quick Google search, you'll figure it out. So I'll start off with the cons then. I'm just feeling. So the first one is the obvious one, is optimization. This game is not optimized very well at all. It is one of the most hardest to run games I've ever had to play in my entire gaming life, which is unfortunate to say quite a long time now. We've got stuff like crashes. So my friend who's got a 30 series Nvidia card, which is better than mine, mine's a 20 series, he crashes just as frequently as me. We'll just be playing and the game will freeze, and we'll have to use the task manager to leave and pretty much end the game, to reboot the game. Now on a 4-hour session, we play on PvE, on a 4-hour session on our server, we're looking at that happening about 4 to 6 times. And it's become a thing now where we're just like, we expect it to happen, and that shouldn't be the case. And for the life of me, we cannot figure it out why it's crashing. Maybe it's some foliage waving in a certain direction and our PCs just aren't rendering it properly, or it could be anything. I mean, if you're watching the clip now, you'll see that there's occasional stutters here and there. That's another thing with optimization, the FPS. Now, what's really bizarre is on day 1, to day 2 really, me and my friend started our own server. We were on Herbivore Island and we sorted our settings out. We got rid of the clouds, which I don't see why we should have to get rid of the clouds, but that's the biggest solution to FPS right now. So we got rid of the clouds through a console command, and we were getting up to like 80 FPS and the game was running smooth. And then I looked online, there were loads of complaints about optimization, which I'm like, yeah, fair dues, it doesn't run amazing. So they updated it, and when they updated it, we logged on the next day and we were getting 20 FPS, and this was without clouds and everything, so we had to like tinker with all the settings and try and get it working again. And I don't know what happened there, but apparently it was running better for some now and worse for others. But that is a really weird thing to happen, that we were getting 80 FPS on day 1, and I haven't seen 80 FPS since that day now. I'm lucky if I get 50. I'm very lucky. I'm blessed if I get 60. I tend to run about 30 to 40 with the settings that I have, which reminds me of like the PlayStation 3, even PlayStation 4 kind of days, which is pretty bad. To say that I was running Ark Survival Evolved in good FPS, but there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I've got all my settings on low to medium. I've managed to get it somewhat stable, but that's not regarding the crashes that keep happening, etc, etc. There's also little things not working as well, like the server selection screen. When you want to click favorite server, it's just so buggy, it does not work properly. I've only had a couple of occurrences where it works, and apart from that, that's about it. And then on the subject of servers, Nitrado. Now, Ark Survival Ascended, Snail Games, Wildcard, whichever one it were involved in that process, I'm not familiar with the technicalities of business, decided to sign an exclusivity contract with Nitrado. Now, I thought I've been using the Tridor and Ark Survival Evolved. I've only had a good time with them. It was good. When I got my server, they were charging me nearly £24 for 1 month, and I only have 20 slots or something in that threshold. Don't quote me on that. And what's really bizarre is on the Tridor site, there was not selection boxes for server settings like there were previously for Ark Survival Evolved. Everything had to be configured through the INI, INI, whatever you want to call it, which was really complicated, and I had to do a lot of looking online to figure this out. If you're not computer literate, that would have stumped you. You would have paid for your server and you wouldn't have had a clue how to tweak your settings. Now, two things happen with a Tridor. Look, there's the game freezer. Two things happen with a Tridor. One is they said that they're going to lower prices a little bit because they realised that the game doesn't need the RAM to run anymore like it did, so they could lower it. So they refunded me a few days, and then they lowered the price by a few quid a month, which I will fine with, whatever. But they haven't given me increased server slots yet. I'm still at like 20 something. Now, I don't run a full capacity server, but for those that do, I imagine this is not good. And then to top it off, they then put on the boxes to change your server settings, which was not there on day one. Now, this was about a month and a half later, which really baffled me because all that time figuring out how to change server settings in the INIs, and then all of a sudden they put these on now. I'm like, why didn't they put them on day one? So, I'm not going to fanboy for Tridor. I use them, they're okay. I like having my own server. I can't run one myself, so it's like my only option right now. This is a monopoly. It's a monopoly, and I'm just looking at it, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just here using the Tridor, and like I said, they run fine. But that's it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is bugs from the old game. So this isn't something that I've noticed too prominently myself, but I've seen a lot of other comments saying it. So for instance, just little bugs like dinos that get locked inside each other when they're trying to walk around. Now, they say they improved the AI of the dinos, which I have seen improvements. They can navigate around walls better. Enemy dinos can actually run around cliffs now rather than running into cliffs, which is quite terrifying when you're running away from an alpha. But just things like when you've got two of your own dinos and they all of a sudden cross paths and they just can't seem to unlock from each other. That's kind of like the bug that I'm talking about. You'd think after all these years, I think Ark 1 came out in 2015, that this would have been sorted by now. But it's still there, it's still prominent, and there's plenty of other bugs in the game from previous as well. But like I said, I've not noticed too many myself, but I think other people have noticed a fair share more than me. Another problem that happened all is early access, the quote early access game. Now they've said it, Ark Survival Ascended is an early access game, and they said Ark Survival Evolved was an early access game for about 3 years. I think that terminology needs to just go now from gaming in general. This isn't a dig at Snail Games, Wildcard, whatever. This is just my own personal problem with that terminology. I think it gives developers an out for a lot of the problems in their games. And I think as a business, you should be held more accountable for the mistakes you make. If you're going to release a game and it doesn't meet to consumer satisfaction, which you have promised, then you should be looked upon in a bad light for that. You shouldn't be able to just go, oh, it's early access and it'll get fixed soon. Ark Survival Evolved was in early access for about 3 years, if I remember correctly. That's not an excuse. If you haven't got a game ready, I would rather you not release it. That's just me. But yeah, that's just the thing that I have with all early access titles. I just think that term needs to go away. Steam player count. This is I'm probably going to pull up a chart for this. I'm currently just winging this commentary. I'm probably not going to edit it much because I don't know. I just don't want to edit it. I just want you to hear me naturally. I want to just be very natural and honest with you. I'm going to probably put a chart over the top of this in a minute which shows you the player count for the past month or so on Ark Survival Evolved and Ark Ascended, and the numbers are actually damning. If I looked at it earlier on, if I remember correctly, Ark Survival Evolved has nearly 2 to 3 times more players than Ark Survival Ascended, but like I said, you'll see the chart and you can prove me wrong there. Now that is something that baffled me today when I saw that. And I think Ark Survival Ascended is losing more players as well. It's weird that people are choosing to go back to the older game because obviously it's just better, comfortably for them. They can PvP better. Now, I'm not a PvPer, but I know a lot of people are. It's like their main reason for playing Ark, and they have had a horrible time playing PvP on this game, to the point where the servers are actually getting empty. I'm not too sure what Survival of the Fittest is. I've never actually looked into it or toe dipped into it, but apparently getting into a Survival of the Fittest game is not even easy there because the player count's dropping significantly. And the last thing I want to talk about at all is the Centre is due to release in about 2, 3, 4 weeks in February. The creature community vote winner for that was the Shastasaurus. It's like a submarine looking animal because obviously it's on the Centre, which is a primarily water focused map. All of a sudden, I think they're putting the Gigantoraptor out, and there's been, as far as I know, no real explanation as to why the Shastasaurus is not being put on the Centre. I'm not too sure what's going off there. I'm pretty sure in one of my older videos we talked about the community crunch, and that was the winner of that map. So that's something that I'm a bit confused about. There's been no communication about it as far as I know. That's kind of upset me a little bit because I was looking forward to the Shastasaurus on the Centre. It was one of the main things I was looking forward to. That's kind of everything that I'm going to be talking about con-wise with the game. There's one more thing I hate to say, but as a content creator, I've seen the viewership on Ark videos dipping significantly. Now, I know, woe is me, my videos are getting less views, but I love this game. I want to make content for this game. I want to be a part of the community in this game. And to see it dying, so to speak, I know that's a harsh term to use, just said flatlining. To see it diminishing, basically, it's horrible because I make videos and it's like there's no players to look at them videos no more. So if I find something fun, or if I find a little guide that I want to make for someone, it's like there's no one to really watch it no more because no one's really playing the game no more. And that is harmful to the game in the long term because a lot of content creators that could have been long-term content creators for this game will leave and they'll move on. I mean, even I started making light of the content for other games like Destiny. I know Destiny is not exactly a better game, it's so to speak. I think they're going through a lot of the same issues, to be fair. But that's what I'm saying. I've started to play other games, whereas I was playing this for about 2 to 3 months. Since it released in end of October, all the way till December, I was just playing it non-stop, and now all of a sudden I'm toe dipping into other games because I don't know, it just doesn't feel like there's a need for the content on this game anymore. Right now, anyway. So the pros that I've got are the biggest one that everyone knows, that this game is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I would wager it's one of the prettiest games that I've played that have a multiplayer aspect like this. Just look at, I mean, if you're looking at my gameplay now, everything's just so nice looking. From the foliage, the dinos, to the sea, I just can't fault it. It's a beautiful world to be a part of, and I love it. I just love flying around the map. I love walking around the map, riding dinos around the map. I feel like I'm in a different world, and it's a good escape from reality, which is fantastic, and it's what I've always wanted in a video game. But then, yeah, we got some quality of life improvements as well to go along with that. Like, for instance, building. You can see here I'm using a mod right now, but the quick selection for building pieces on the menu is absolutely a game changer. No longer do you have to get a wall and a door on, well, yeah, you have to get a wall and a door frame. A wall and a door frame on 2 different pieces. You can have them on the same button and just scroll through it, and that has been an absolute game changer in the building aspect of this game. Now, as a PvE player, I primarily focus on building, as you can tell with my house here, and that is just made quality. It's just a big quality of life improvement. I absolutely love that, to be fair. It's one of my favorite new features. Also, on controller, the UI is a little easier to navigate. For instance, you used to have to, like, I think it's the X button on PlayStation 5. Yeah, you have to hold on the Evolved, you have to hold X. You have to click X and hold X to transfer an item over to a new menu. Now you just hold X and R2. You just click R2 and you can just quickly transfer items over. So little quality of life things like that are fantastic. And in the talk of mods and all, which you can see me using right now, the mod developers on Ark Survival Ascended, they are grafting. They are working hard on this game. Now, this could lean into a bit of a con as well, to be fair. And I know we've had a lot of cons. But Ark Survival Evolved had some fantastic mods that you've just not seen on Ascended yet. But there are some people on Ark Ascended literally busting their asses off trying to make good mods for Ark Ascended, and I appreciate them 100%, especially as a PvE player. All the building pieces, all that kind of stuff, all the new dinos that they added onto the map, it's just, it keeps me in the game. I'm not gonna lie, if it weren't for the mod developers, I probably would lower my game time a lot, because a lot of the things you're seeing I used to build are from the mods. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the old mods couldn't transfer over. But we've got some good mod developers that are working hard. On the topic of mods as well, cross-platform mods. So now I can have console players playing on my server. Now don't get me wrong, some mods are limited. So some of them aren't cross-play enabled, which is unfortunate because there were some good mods that I liked having on my server. But I've had to get rid of them because they're not cross-play. But having the option to have cross-play on the server, it's made running a server and having a small community just 10 times better. It's so much nicer to be able to allow people to play and not have a restriction like, oh, I'm sorry, you're on console, you can't play, mate. Because that were a bit disheartening on Survival Evolved. And then another thing we are extended is we've got something to look forward to, I guess. So we've got like the roadmap that came out, we've got the centre to look forward to coming out, and Scorched Earth. These are all going to look just as good, if not better than the island. So I'm looking forward to that. I wish Lost Island was coming out sooner. Lost Island is going to be the last map to come out in like 2025 or something like that. That's my favourite map. I was really looking forward to seeing that in like the Unreal Engine 5, but I can wait, I think. Having something to look forward to is nice. It's just, the fact that it's the same content is a little bit, disheartening, but not. But you've got to think to yourself, it'll look different, it'll play different to a degree. So there's always that to look forward to. And that's pretty much everything. I mean, I want to keep on creating Ark Survival Ascended content. It's just very difficult lately with the state of the game. I'm hoping there's going to be some changes in the next few months that pretty much U-turn everything that's been going on, and hopefully the player base starts returning back from the old game, because they keep going back to Evolved now. The player count on Evolved is pretty nice. But that's the state of how I feel about Ark Survival Ascended right now. What do you think? What's your thoughts on that? Because obviously I'm a content creator, so I look at this in a content creating kind of aspect, but as I don't know, you general player, what do you think to the game right now? Have you gone back to Ark Survival Evolved? Will you be going back to Ark Survival Ascended? Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy.